what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to Scents of South Jersey with me, Kellen, for another fragrance video. Got kind of a very rare sort of blip in fragrance history, fragrance review going on today. It's one that I learned about via Instagram from a couple people who are also other, classic fragrance aficionados. And from their photos and description and suggestion, I decided to pick it up. It is from the house of Lacoste. It's a 90s fragrance, 1991 to be exact, classified as an aromatic spicy. It is a fragrance called Land. So, what we'll always do is break down the fragrance into 5 parts, taking a look at its box and bottle presentation, taking a look at its notes. I'm going to go over its performance based on my experience wearing the fragrance, give it my thoughts, and then of course my overall ratings. And as usual, guys, if it's your first time here and you enjoy classic men's fragrance content, make sure to subscribe to support the channel. And if you have an Instagram, go ahead and check out the Scents of South Jersey Instagram page for news and updates on the channel, photos of fragrances from my collection, and daily scent of the day posts. So let's take a look at Lacoste Land. As usual, we'll start things off with the presentation. Very interesting presentation for this one. Let's take a look at the box. So the front of the box has this sort of very earth tone to it. It says Land here. You got the alligator logo down there, the different in color texture from like a really white to like a dark, almost dark khaki. And on the top, you don't have anything going on. You can take a look at this box here. This is a 50 ml bottle, and it is an eau de toilette concentration. On the sides, you have a barcode very similar to the other Lacoste, and then it looks like up there you have yet again another alligator, and then you have some brand information, some more brand information here, and then on the bottom you've got your barcode, and I'm sure there's a batch code in there too. Again, very rare fragrance. On the back you have another thing that says Land, and then the Lacoste logo too. So really interesting box. And then here is the bottle. So I've used a decent amount of it. This is all I have, in terms of the cap is reflective. Here you can see the reflection there, and it's kind of a fingerprint magnet. And on the back, on the top, you don't have anything. And then on the bottom, you do have your sticker. And this does have a batch code of U036UGA. So who knows how long ago that was. Let's take the cap off. It clicks into place. It does say Land and Lacoste logo there. Now, it's a flat across, so that sort of reminds me of like how the Drakkar Noir bottle, and how it's curved, but then when you take it off, it's just like straight cut right across. This is what it looks like, distribution on this. Very good. It's a great sprayer. It's a beast for a little thing here. And, it's kind of like this earthy juice it has. The presentation really reminds me of like Steve Irwin or something like that. Some outdoor, there's the Lacoste Original, which is very, very active country club. This is like active taken to the next level with outdoorsy. So that's what it looks like. I like the way it clicks into place. This is a really cool presentation, very unique, very, very, I think, late 80s, early 90s, which is exactly the era this came out. Okay, so the notes for Land. Not a huge amount of notes, more than the average fragrance today, but not like some of the ones in the 80s and early 90s where it was stacked. So sort of typical for Lacoste. I know Lacoste Original was sort of the same way. So let's take a look. In the top, we have some juniper, lavender, bergamot, coriander, mace, pepper, and cyclamen. And then in the middle or heart of the fragrance, you don't have nearly as many notes. There's just lily of the valley, geranium, and carnation. And then in the base, you have cedar, vetiver, musk, amber, and oak moss. So to me, what I think stands out the most is the spices in the opening and the citrus, kind of like a smoky citrus. And then in the, you're gonna get a little bit of the florals, but the base notes I think are the ones that I noticed the most. So those are like the cedar, the vetiver, the musk, and the oak moss. Those together, a little bit of the amber, surprisingly. Those together I think have the strongest projection in the fragrance as a whole from when you notice it, because it does change. But those are the notes that I pick up out of the most. Okay, so the performance for Lacoste Land, I think this is gonna be a stronger performer than the original Lacoste, or Lacoste Original, whatever you wanna call it. I'm noticing 6 hours and up, but I would say between 6 and 8, probably closer to 6. And if you spray heavier, you're going to notice it more, I would imagine, if you spray it on your clothes. But this is all I have, and this is a more rare fragrance. I don't have like the whole body line or anything. The only thing else I have is this little mini that actually, it's funny, it's stupid looking. It's a splash, but it came with this from the seller that I got it from. So I haven't been spraying a ton of it because I know this is the only bottle I have, maybe the only bottle I'll ever get. But I think, if you spray heavier, you spray on your clothes, you have a lot of it, you can use it, then it would probably last a little bit longer, just based on sheer volume of the amount of fragrance you're putting on. But from what I've used, 3-4 sprays, I think surprisingly 6 hours, but that's pretty good. Okay, it's time for my overall thoughts for Lacoste Land too. So I have sprayed it on my hand here. This is a very unique scent. There's no question about it that this is something that you would never, ever in a million years see come out today. This is definitely under the radar. It's a blip in the history of Lacoste fragrances and fragrance history in general, like I had mentioned. This one, it's very unique. It opens with like the citrus and the spice. And then, you get some of the florals and it dries down to like the earthy oak moss, slightly green, almost slightly fougere at the end. Like it's sort of at the very end, reminds me of a little bit of a Jacquard Noir style fougere. The opening is a little bit difficult. And I think the first time I sprayed this fragrance, I was a little bit turned off. It got such a spiciness to it. It had that note of what I thought was cumin, and that wasn't in it. And that kind of has that sort of almost BO scent to it, and Land does not have that. But I thought it did. And then I kind of gave it time. I let it settle down, and this stuff smells fantastic in the air, but you got to let it settle down, and you don't want to overspray it, because I think that's what I initially did, but it does smell amazing in the air. And then when it dries down, you get that the warmer, that's when the amber notes come out a little bit, and it's warmer, oak moss, earthy. Again, the presentation and name for this is perfect. I think it reminds me of, not only did I say in the very end a little bit of like a fougere, but in the opening sort of like a one-man show, and an Open by Roger and Galley combined, because Open's has that smoky citrus, one-man show's got that like spicy combination, gumbo of all different types of things going on in there. So, it's a medley of different notes, but it's a very unique scent, and it's very different. I would say if I had to describe this, it would be more casual for sure. I think since it changes so much, there's such a difference in where it begins to where it ends in terms of the scent. You could wear this all year round. This is definitely a daytime fragrance. It's gonna be one where if you put an age range on it, definitely late 30s and up would probably appreciate this more. Definitely not a young guy scent. I don't even know how long this lasted for Lacoste, so that's an interesting thing. It's very under the radar, and you don't see that many bottles of it too. But it's one that it's definitely polarizing. I would say some people may absolutely hate it. Initially, I was turned off, like I mentioned, but it did really grow on me. And it's definitely got that masculine, dry down fougere characteristics in the end, and the green outdoor, type of scent. So this, like I mentioned, is the next level for Lacoste. Maybe they had the Country Club one with their originals, and then they came out with, like Lacoste Eau de Sport. And then this came out, Land, in 1991, and they were going for an outdoorsy, less Country Club. Indoor sports were more outdoor activity, and they wanted something to appeal to people that enjoy that type of outdoor activities in general, and this is the scent that they wanted to have. It's not as sporty because it's a little bit thicker, but it's definitely interesting. Lacoste Land is one type of fragrance that I'm really happy to have, just based on how rare it is and how different it is. But like right now, it's just really spicy, but you get that citrus, burnt citrus in the background, which is a really interesting scent. And then that amber, earthy, mossy dry down is where it really stands out, and probably what I like the most about the fragrance. This in general, I'm happy to have. Okay guys, time for my overall ratings for Land by Lacoste. So presentation I think is awesome. The bottle and the box really look cool, especially the bottle. Like I even like even this looks like utility. It's almost like it's some sort of canteen or outdoor thing. You got the marks here for it, so it looks like tire tread or track like that. Like Land it's the excursion fragrance. I think the presentation is awesome. The only thing that would have been cooler is if it had a built-in sprayer, but that may have actually taken away from its overall look. So 9 out of 10 for its presentation. The performance, like I mentioned, the way I'm spraying it, I'm getting between 6 and 8 hours, but closer to 6. So I'm going to give that a 6.5 out of 10 for the performance. And then the scent, very unique, very different, very polarizing. But I'm on the side that I really ended up liking the fragrance. It's earthy, it's clean, it's musky, it's all kinds of things together. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 for the scent. It's going to bring the overall rating for Land by Lacoste, by me, to an 8 out of 10. All right, guys, that's a review. That's my look at the 1991 release by the House of Lacoste, Land, the aromatic, spicy fragrance. You know, if you guys made it this far, thank you so much for watching. You know, I always appreciate when you guys come and watch these videos, especially ones like this that are not going to be super popular, probably won't get a ton of views. Doesn't matter to me. This is one that I enjoyed, that I liked because of the history of the fragrance, that I thought it was cool because it's so unique and it kind of goes along with my channel. So thanks again for watching. Like I mentioned, make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Check out the Scents of South Jersey Instagram page and let me know if you've ever tried Land by Lacoste or what other rare type of blip in fragrance history fragrances you like. So thanks again, guys, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care.